wants to join it too.
Oh, I can, with the link that you have, he can click on that, like on the same URL that you joined in with.
Okay.
When I sent you.
Okay, yeah, I sent him that link, but it's saying that it wants him to log into my. Let me just try real quick.
Well, he can use the phone as well. He can dial in.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me share with you in the chat.
Okay. I'm gonna send him this too. Beep 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 beep. Sorry if anybody's on and they're hearing all this stuff. Okay.
I just sent it in the chat as well.
Okay. Let me see where the chat is.
So I don't know if you see, like, there's, yeah.
Yeah, I see it up there. Just gonna
Hi there.
him. Hello. He's on. Hello.
I don't know.
Hi, good morning. It's Efren. I'm on my phone. I'm having some bandwidth issues here at the house.
Oh, okay. So it's just you again.
Yeah, it's been the norm here with both my wife and I working from home, so we're having to share the bandwidth now.
Yeah.
Hey,
working from home.
Sorry, I'm late, but.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. So, like I said, we're going to get started. If you guys want to share what you do, who you are, and why it's important for small businesses to know about these expertise and how can they best utilize them. Whenever you're ready.
Sure, I think I'll go first. So my name is Heather Monroe. I'm currently working for a software company. DeliverLogic is the parent company and is a software that is used by independent delivery services to run their business. They partner with restaurants for delivery and for takeout, and use that software to run their platforms and their businesses. I used to be a client along with my husband. We owned the Bike Waiter in San Antonio for 6 years. In downtown San Antonio. And when we sold the business, about a year after consulting with small businesses and restaurants and other delivery services, we were asked and recruited by DeliverLogic to move out here to Tampa to work on some other initiatives and projects while building our client base, as well as launching another product called Active Menus, which is stepping away from the delivery aspect as a third-party delivery service and empowering the local and independent restaurants to really take back their online presence and give them an online ordering platform that does not take consumers away from their brand, but helps them build their brand and regain their social media, regain their Google business listing and their information, and helps them collect consumer data rather than just freely giving that data away to corporate giants like Grubhub and DoorDash and Uber and Postmates and all the other ones that are out there. So that's been my concentration the last 8 months. And now that we are in the environment that we are in, it's been very busy, and we've been trying to help as many restaurants as we possibly can. So that's what I do.
I don't know if you want to start with how have you worked with your clients right now? You were talking a little bit before the meeting started about the onboarding of the new technologies. Maybe what are the main concerns that people have come to you with, and how have you approached them?
Right. So, small and independent restaurants, whether it's single owner operated or family, you got the husband, the wife, working, as hard as they can to keep the business open. And they really can't, or the perception is that they can't afford some of the things that would help them grow their business. And so they succumb to if I partner with DoorDash and Uber and Grubhubs and the likes of those businesses, I'm going to get a bunch of orders and that's going to help me build my business, which it will to some degree, but at what cost is that taking out of your pocket? most of those companies take a percentage of the sale. They also are in control of the consumer data, and they're not necessarily your ally, because once someone goes to their website thinking that they might be ordering from you, then that consumer is then marketed a whole selection of restaurants, and you're not the consumer that might have been on your social platform or might have been on your website are now no longer on your website. So we are coming to the restaurants and kind of educating them on what has happened in the market of third-party and online ordering in the last couple of years, how it has changed, what the big players like DoorDash have done to the delivery services, who are also local and independent, working very closely with restaurant partners. And now that we are faced, with situations like this, how to gain their control back, how to take back their social presence, how to find companies that are, helping them rather than possibly hurting them, and ways that they can kind of fight back. And although active menus, it might be my software or the company that I work with, and yes, I'm partial to it, but there are a host of online ordering platforms out there for restaurants to choose from. Some of them are very good, some of them are very robust, some of them are really, really, really bad. Some of them have hidden fees, hidden commissions, hidden contracts, just they just do their business, differently. And then there's platforms like ours who simply just want to help the restaurants have their brand, have a website if they don't have a website, give them the online ordering platform, and help them succeed and mentor them along the way. Most of our team have been in the restaurant business, have owned restaurants, have been in the software business, have been in the delivery space. And a lot of us have also been involved in different kind of mentorship programs and entrepreneurship programs in whatever city that it is that we work remotely from. So our restaurants have come to us. We've gotten them onboarded. We've answered questions. We've thought out different ideas with them, things that they can add to their menu during this time of need that might not be necessarily restaurant related, but products that they're able to get their hands on and resell to their community, such as toilet paper and cleaning products that they are getting from their distributors and their local vendors. And we're helping them be a part of their community when they might otherwise be struggling. And then while the restaurants are having, they have time now, do they have a website? Do they own their own URL? Are they tied in with some marketing company that said that they were going to help blow them up and they haven't seen any action? How do you get out of those situations? Where do you need to be putting your focus in, and how you do that? What resources can you access that will help you teach those skills as far as marketing and social media and Google business listings and all those kind of things.
Okay. And then from that, like if you're a business right now and it wants to get online, you work mainly with restaurants or the food industry, right? Food and beverage? Or
yes. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say are the first steps? What would be a good checklist to maybe even look at if you're capable of doing this? Do you think everyone's capable, or like what are some signs that you will be able to kind of pivot into this new like online presence, online platform where you can still sell and interact with your clients and customers, community, etc.?
Sure. So, I mean, the first step is, do you have a website? A lot of people think, oh, I don't need a website, that costs money. I have my Facebook page. Well, I mean, that's great that you have a Facebook page, and you could have 10,000 followers on your Facebook page, and you could even, be able to order from your Facebook page. But if you don't have a Google business listing, or if you don't own your Google business listing and someone else is, portraying you, or if Google has thrown up a URL, and you go to that site and you see that it is littered with links for other online ordering platforms, then you have just lost your presence. So, you need to secure a domain name. You need to secure a URL, and you can put up a website and you can control your Google business listing. People use their phones, they use their computers, they use Google to find anything and everything. So yes, absolutely, everybody should have this, everybody can have this, and it doesn't matter if you have one menu item that you are selling. Take it, own it, get it updated, get it listed, and just whatever platform you want to use out there, use it.
Okay. And on terms of messaging, like how can you get yourself out there, and also what's the, like right now these are kind of difficult times, is stressful situation for a lot of people, a lot of communities, so how can you make sure that your message is not about like all marketing, and how can you make sure that you're connecting with the community and actually getting through, and like I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I have Shane on the line with me. He's my husband. So he's actually when you're talking about marketing and getting your messaging out and making sure that you're staying in front of the eye of the consumer, that is more his expertise. And I know that he's been working with a lot of our clients as well in that realm. So Shane, if you've got some pointers on that, you can speak. But as far as the clients that I've been working with on helping them get their website launched, things that I mentioned to you earlier, like putting a grocery list on their menu. It's not all about, my food and you just buying my food. But if me, restaurant A, has a relationship with my vendor who I know I can order supplies from, like toilet paper, cleaning solutions, then I'll order that, and you can order that from my website, regardless if you order food or not, but you can come pick up some toilet paper and some cleaning products. And if you don't think that toilet paper isn't a hot subject right now, that message alone will get some attention, and you'll get some people ordering, and then you have them on your site and you can have their consumer data and then remarket to them later. But Shane, you want to answer some of those questions?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you nailed a big component of it, which is to make sure that you have claimed your listings, Google Business Listing being one. Once you claim it, then you can make sure everything's accurate, that no one's hijacked your listing, that your phone number's right, no one's, put their link to order instead of the restaurant link to order. But also make sure that you also don't discount Bing. Bing Places has a very similar feature as Google Business Listing. It's called Bing Places, places.bing.com. bingplaces.com. But really, a massive percentage of first-time customers that we're seeing are coming from boomers and seniors who typically have not been ordering takeout and delivery, definitely are not familiar with the online ordering process. Bing still gathers a very significant portion of the searches that happen online. If you think about when you order a new PC, you grab a new HP or Dell or whatever kind of computer you get, if you're not on a Mac, the default search engine that comes on there is Internet Explorer. And a lot of the people that are older generations don't know how to change from Internet Explorer to Firefox or Chrome. So they just go with it. They hit Internet, it opens Explorer, they hit something in the search browser, and by default, Internet Explorer uses Bing. And so if you're not on Bing, you're missing that whole wave of people that are coming looking for solutions right now on where to find food, how to order online, how to find your restaurant. So make sure you get Google, but also make sure that you claim your Bing Places listing. If you don't have one, you can add it. Takes about 5 or 7 business days for them to verify that it's you. but then, post your photos, post your menu, post your links to online ordering. Definitely those are kind of my two main suggestions in terms of getting the word out there. But it's critical that restaurants retain their data. And once you have it, you can send emails, you can do text messages, you can reach your customers once you know who they are. But if you're only using DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats, you have no idea who these people are. And originally they've come to you. If your restaurant has, a link to order online and you take them from your website and route them over to DoorDash, DoorDash gets their name, their phone number, their email address. They know who that customer is. You have no idea who that person was that you just sent to them, and you're never going to get that data. That's why it's really, really critical to offer online ordering on your own website and capture that information.
Yeah, and I think right now it's more like maybe you used to know your customer, like you used to know who was buying from you because you were at the store, you will see them or picking up and now your customer has changed, I guess, your customer profile, and it's important to be keeping track of that. A lot of the times you think, well, if they're on Instagram, they're around this age range or Facebook, but right now everyone's at home, so your actual network or of customers or potential customers has grown. So how can you adapt to that? Or you mentioned like communities have started to sell products like household basics. Also, I've seen people partnering up like in Austin, I saw like Tiff Streets was delivering also Torchy's Tacos, like helping out each other because there's businesses that have. So, have you seen those collaborations between small businesses?
Not really collaborations of, restaurants advertising other restaurants, food for pickup and takeout. But, what we have seen as well is well, I've seen multiple restaurants do this. They have put meal kits together that consumers can purchase on the online ordering website, but that meal purchase goes to maybe a staff member, or it goes as a donation to a hospital worker. So, there are a lot of people that are asking, how can I help? How can I help? But I can't leave my house. Well, through the restaurant online ordering and through the restaurant's website, getting the message out on Facebook, like, hey, go to our website if you want to help purchase a meal that's either going to go to a staff member or a waiter or waitress that's been laid off and has no job and still needs to feed their family, or order a meal or order 10 meals, and we will make sure that those meals get to the local hospital and goes to these nurses or these staff members. So we've seen multiple restaurants do similar situations like that, where they are able to they're able to capture the sale basically, and then make sure that on behalf of the restaurant that they are providing these meals to either their own staff members or members of the community that are in need. The elderly community, they have where you can purchase a meal, and as means of giving their workers jobs to do, maybe their staff are doing the actual deliveries. So if you know that, somebody's grandmother who doesn't have any family in town and lives down the street but can't get out of the house, purchase a meal for her, let them know that that needs to be delivered, put in the special instructions, the address, and throw a tip in there for the staff member that's going to be making that delivery to that person. And you're supplying your staff with work, you're supplying a community member with a meal. And so it's things like that. You just kind of really got to think outside the box what you want to do, and then how within our software can we make that happen. So we've been able to do some pretty cool things.
Have you seen an increase of sales, or do you think that type of messaging is the one that's working right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I have restaurants that have not had a website not had any social media really. But, you know, were convinced 2 months ago, well, I don't need any of this because I have great loyal customers. Well, that's fine, but your loyal customers cannot come and eat in your restaurant anymore. And the only way that they can support you is if they have a way to get your food. And so they need direct access to you. And if you don't have a website or online ordering, and now you've got funky hours because you don't know, you know, when you're able to work or what products you're going to get. If you don't have a way for them to connect with you and communicate with you, then you lose. But if you do, then absolutely you will be in the game. And I have seen restaurants that have gone from no presence to getting a website, getting their link up. We throw the software, we send them a tablet, and as soon as we turn everything on, within 24 hours, they're getting orders, and it grows and it grows and it grows. I have a restaurant that has been on for less than maybe 10 days. They've done over 200 orders. I mean, it's significant. People want to support the local restaurants. They want to get your food, but if you don't have a way for them to get it directly from you, then you're not servicing your customers.
Yeah, that's right. And how can you once like get them to come back? And also, what, like, I know we were talking about like how these practices are now going to be, maybe they're going to be helpful after.
Yeah.
So like maybe because you work with restaurants so closely about putting this together even before COVID-19. So how can you see, like, what's the return on investment in time and maybe resources? What have you seen on this, like the return on investment of like putting all these in place, all this tools and technology?
Well, I mean, it's the rate of return is exponential, right? Because not only are you giving your consumers a platform to order from you directly, and most of the services out there, well, like our service, there is no out-of-pocket expense to the restaurant, so there is no cost for the restaurant. So all they're doing is gaining sales, gaining consumer data. But if you can have a customer of yours that is a dine-in customer who also is a delivery customer, or hey, I'm going to order a family meal on my way home from work, and I'm going to order from my favorite restaurant that I dine in also. If you can get them to order from you directly and not order from DoorDash, who takes a 30% commission, then you've just gained that 30% commission that you used to lose every time that they ordered from DoorDash instead of ordering from you directly. So again, it's bringing a different clientele, a different consumer base that you have no idea who is ordering from you, to being able to order from you directly. So that alone is huge. And it's not only going to help businesses and restaurants in this time of need, but it is going to help bring those consumers back to their restaurants and ordering from them directly, and getting away from ordering from the other platforms who do cost money, who do take a percentage of the sale, or do have monthly fees, and take commissions and stuff like that. So the rate of return, I would say, is very high. And I know Shane's got some information on this as well, so I'll let him talk.
Yeah, so part of my role now at Deliver Logic is, we have hundreds of clients that use our software that power their delivery business across the country and throughout Canada and other countries as well. But one of the things that the initiatives that I started when I came over here last year was we now handle dispatch and call center solutions for third-party delivery companies that use our software. And so we handled call center and dispatch for close to 60 different cities around the country. We dispatch thousands of orders a day. We take thousands of phone calls a week. And I'll just say that some of these orders that get placed with restaurants where the delivery service doesn't have a partnership with the restaurant, we call them in over the phone. We kind of act as if we're the customer that's going to come pick up the order. These call-in orders with the restaurants can take well, with the customer, so we take the order from the customer over the phone. Some of these call-in orders with the customer can take 8, 9, 10 minutes. They don't really know what they want. They have questions. They want to kind of browse. But if they don't have a website to like go to, look at the menu, figure out what they want, they're just going to call and waste your time. Like, you don't really have, restaurants don't have the staff right now to tie up those resources with people on the phone line. Like, you just have one phone, more than likely. One, you know, you don't have 5 people standing by taking orders. I've got a team of CSRs, dispatchers that are taking orders all day, but a single restaurant owner just can't be having their time bogged down taking phone-in orders. It's a complete waste of resources. But if you have a tablet where orders just come in and they fire to the kitchen, or you put them from the tablet into your POS, one person can just stand there, man your tablet, put orders into the POS, they fire to the kitchen, and things just move. But as soon as you have to take phone-in orders, the whole process gets bogged down. And that's really what I've been working on here in the call center now, is streamlining processes, making things more efficient, and eliminating bottlenecks. And the phone-in orders are a massive bottleneck that restaurants should certainly try and avoid at all costs if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like listening to you, like I've done that. I've gone through a website and maybe it doesn't have like what I know they have at the restaurant, and I just call them. And then you're like, okay, what does that have? Like sushi, like you have to know like what, everything's on the roll and everything. So I know it could be annoying and time, wasting time. And more now that you mentioned like there's no staff that can answer those questions, or you're short staffed. So you want to make sure you're maximizing your time. What do you think it's the difference? Like the customer experience changes from online to at the brick and mortar. And what do you think you have to have on your website, or what are the key aspects that need to be in order to have a full customer experience, a successful customer experience online for you to get to a sale with your customer or like whoever's browsing through the page?
I mean, I would go ahead, Heather.
Yeah, so I've been helping restaurants build their menus, right? So when you go to a DoorDash or an Uber or a Postmates, like you just said, you know, you're looking through these menus and you know this restaurant, right? It's your best friend. You're like, man, I know they've got these chicken wings and I really want them, but they're not on DoorDash. So you call them like, hey man, you got these wings? I know you got that sauce. And they're like, oh yeah. Well, that's where consumer relationship is lost, right? DoorDash, Uber, these are big entities dealing with hundreds of thousands of restaurants, hundreds of thousands of menus. And so they just make everything very cookie cutter, no explanation. A lot of times the menu's incorrect. It's not accurate. I mean, how can you possibly, make sure that everything is just so as it should be in the restaurant? Whereas if a restaurant has their own online ordering and they have their own software and they have access to that back end, or they have someone like me who's been in the restaurant business that can help them build their menu as if that person is sitting down in their restaurant, and make sure that all of those items are in there, that all of those descriptions are in there. And you can even put your personality in the wording of the description of the menu items, where a customer can go on there and be like, oh yeah, that waitress always asks me that question just like that. Man, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to have some extra blue cheese dressing. So they're going through the order process and they know that they're ordering from you because they see all those items in there. And you can put descriptive words in the menu items and the description of the food that they're eating. You can put those details in there and you can put that personality in there. Whereas with a third-party delivery services, you lose that. You lose that ability and you lose that control. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely one thing that we help with is building menus, building the options, building the upsells, putting the personality in there, and making sure that it's a consumer-friendly experience, but that it's also streamlined for the restaurant.
Yeah, the one thing that I was going to add, because another way that our dispatch and call center gets orders placed into restaurants, if the service doesn't have a partnership, we'll call them in over the phone. If it's a bigger chain or a restaurant that does have online ordering, we'll just place it online rather than have to call and talk to someone and get a busy signal. Because you lose so much in translation. But what we find when we're placing orders online from other software providers that have online ordering for restaurants is that they don't have, many of these don't have room for special instructions and modifications. So, you know, I get an order from a restaurant and it says, you know, they want their breaded chicken, but it needs to be on the side, or they want to have extra sauce, or, you know, which you can charge for extras. But a lot of them are just like, you know, please make sure it has, I mean, there's just so many out. No mayo, please. Here's one, right? But if I go to place this order from Jersey Mike's on jerseymikes.com, I probably don't have a field to tell them, you know, no mayo or on the side. You know what I mean? They just don't have those fields for special instructions. Whereas through active menus, you're able to, the customers, and they can order exactly what they want, and they can not special instruction you to death, because it gets to be a pain. But if you get a website and you can't get what you want because they don't have that option, and you know that it's available, there's no way to just say, hey, I'd like to try that new honey sriracha sauce that you guys have. It's not on the menu. You just can't, and you can't tell them that that's what you want because they don't have a simple field like special instructions. So,
Right.
So the end customers will gravitate to the online solutions where they can get exactly what they want, because they know what's their favorite at these restaurants. They know exactly what they want.
Yep.
But if they can't get it, they're not going to use that solution.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has questions. I think Ryan just put something on the chat. Does it make sense to have different menu online versus what's in the venue?
That's a great question. And so, yes, it does benefit. And there's multiple things that you can do. A lot of times, well, in the situation that we're in right now, a lot of restaurants have a very limited menu. But they've got a menu that will help families out. They have a menu that's easy inside the restaurant with products that they know that they're not going to run out of, and they are able to customize these menus and add these menu items whenever they want to, and then be able to quickly remove them if they have to. But creating a takeout menu with different menu items that can be attractive. You're like, hey, you can't come into my restaurant and sit down and have this family meal. But if you are a family of 4 and on Friday night you're sick and tired of ordering pizza, come to my website and order my family takeout special that you can only order online from my website, not DoorDash, not Uber, not anybody else. You order it from me, and you'll get a special treat. I mean, that's certainly an excellent way to entice people and make them kind of feel like, hey, I get something special. The dine-in customers can't even get this, and any other platform doesn't serve this. So yeah, it's fun.
Okay, and then he posted a question before that. How should restaurants try to price their products in order to make sure they aren't losing money on these platforms? And I would like to add also, how can you price in order that you're like pricing for delivery, for whatever, like additional, like what you use, like the boxes, like how can you make sure that you're pricing right your products, like while you're using other platforms and maybe to adjust to the delivery option?
Right. So I think Shane and I can both, speak on this regards. If you're working with third-party delivery services like the DoorDashes and the Ubers and stuff like that, 8 years ago when this was not a very well-known product, this was sold as incremental sales, and at that time, getting an extra sale here or there was a good thing. You were more than welcome. You more than happy to pay that commission and chalk that up as a marketing fee because you are reaching consumers that you weren't otherwise reaching. Nowadays, some of the more popular restaurants are seeing anywhere from 10 to 30 orders a day. And that does start eating into the profit when DoorDash and Uber and Postmates and Favor and whoever it is are charging anywhere from a 20 to 30% commission from the restaurant. And what we've seen in the last couple of years is that restaurants have been fighting back. And so they have provided a delivery priced menu versus their dine-in menu as a way to, hey, if you dine in with me, you're going to get my pricing, but if you're going to order my food off of DoorDash, you're going to see a higher price. And so there's been some sort of a combination where the commission is lowered on the restaurant side to help them with the cost. But then you will also see that DoorDash obviously has to make their profit margin, or Uber or anybody else. And so service fees have been tacked on. So I would, say that a consumer who is ordering from a third-party delivery entity, regardless of internally what the service and the restaurant have worked out as far as cost and commission, the online ordering consumer is paying anywhere from a 25 to sometimes a 45% markup on getting that food delivered to them. And consumers are starting to kind of fight back on that too, saying, okay, everybody, this is getting out of control. I'm just going to go back to eating in the restaurant, which is great. But again, with the online ordering for pickup and takeout, what you're seeing is a bunch of platforms are coming out and not charging the restaurant anything. It is no out-of-pocket cost for a restaurant to have their own website with online ordering. And we can make our money by tacking on a small, fee for that the consumer pays, but the consumer would much rather save that money and just go pick it up themselves. Saves money in their pocket, and it's beneficial for the restaurant because the restaurant's not having to lose all those commissions. As far as like packaging and takeout, I would definitely say that restaurants that invest in their to-go packaging definitely have a better rate of return of consumers coming back because their food stays intact, it stays fresh and hot, chicken stays crispy, and there's don't feel like you can't add a to-go fee on your paper and plastic cost. Customers will pay for it, so add that cost in. There's nothing wrong with having additional charges on an order to cover the cost when it comes to convenience. I think consumers have proven that they are willing to pay a little extra for conveniences if it means that they are going to get the same quality of expectation when they're inside the restaurant.
And then Ryan added another question. When does it make sense to have an in-house delivery model?
I can talk on that one, Heather.
Yeah, I'll let Shane talk on that one.
And I wanted to touch on a little bit of that last question if I can, because I think the pricing is a great way to shift consumers away from the big players where, so even if you're not giving a commission to DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, those guys, they're making their money. We have to, as a third party, we have to make anywhere from 20 to 30% per order. And so they're just adding that on as a line item for taxes and fees, as a service charge, like 15%. They're marking up their menus a little bit. So if you give them a marked up menu, they're likely going to mark it up as well and charge 15 or more percent at checkout. So they're going to get their 20+% either way. Now, if you have your own online ordering, the play here would be to give marked up menu prices to the Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, that you get your money there. But then on your own website, charge menu prices, right? And then you can use that in your marketing to your customers to say, hey, come back and order directly from me, and you'll save money on every order. You're going to get the regular menu prices, and you'll get those customers back. So use that to your advantage, where you make money on their orders and you get your customers back at the same time. I just wanted to add that to the last question there.
Okay.
In terms of
go ahead.
Delivery, it's a tricky one, really. There's very few restaurants who have mastered self-delivery. right? It's the Chinese places, the pizza places. It's tricky. It goes against everything that you learn and that you teach in the restaurant business to your wait staff, for example, which Heather and I talk all the time. It's like you teach them never go back to the kitchen empty-handed, right? You walk through the kitchen, you walk through the dining room, you bring something back every time. But yet, if you're going to create your own in-house delivery, you're doing exactly that. You're going out to deliver food to the customer, to drop off food, and you're coming back to your restaurant every single time empty-handed. It's just it's very difficult to do on your own, and it's not cheap. You know, obviously Jimmy John's is very successful at it, but they only go, 5 minutes from their store. And so I think to be successful, you have to create boundaries. You can't service everyone. As much as you want to, you have to draw a line somewhere. And it's easy to just say, oh, I'll go an extra block. I'll go 2 more blocks. It's not that far. I'll do it. But then before you know it, you're just too far out, and you're not efficient. You're not effective. And at some point, you just have to draw the line. And really, by having a delivery software in your pocket allows you to create proper zoning and proper distance and things like that. It's not that you won't go 5 or 7 miles to deliver food to a customer. You just need it to be worth your time as a restaurant owner and worth the driver's time for being on the road and out of the restaurant for that long.
Yeah.
And so that's where having a software makes it really powerful. Because once that consumer puts in their address, you know exactly where they are. The delivery fees populate. You can set minimum orders that are in line with the distance. So, when we had our delivery service in downtown San Antonio, if someone out in the medical center wanted to order lunch for their office or for the hospital, we're going to do it. But it has to be like $150 worth of food. But we'll go. But it can't be some dude on the couch who wants a burrito. We won't go for that. So having a proper software, if you're going to do your in-house delivery, is critical. One, to being able to get enough customers, across your geographic area where it makes sense, because you may not have enough customers within, 5 minutes of your restaurant.
And then there's
you gotta
another.
manage your zoning and fees.
Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah, and there's another question that Ryan asked is, I'm a big fan of Shopify as a platform. Does it make sense to build your site through something like this or through one of the delivery systems integrations, or do something custom? Again, not sure if that makes sense. So maybe if not Shopify, what would you suggest as starting point for restaurants?
So, I'm a
there's-
huge fan of Shopify as well for products, and I know Shane can talk about that. But Shopify is not created for restaurants. It's just not. And I will be pretty adamant on this. If I see a restaurant who has Shopify menu, that just tells me that they haven't done their homework and they're not really serious about their business. Sorry. There are platforms out there that are very specific for online ordering for restaurants. Obviously, our product is one of them, but there are a plethora of them. Shopify, that's where you get products and hats and T-shirts and consumer goods. That's not where you go to order food from.
And what would you what are your product and what other platforms out there, or how can someone start researching on that? What should they look at when shopping for a platform?
So we've got 2 solutions. One is the project that Heather's on, which is Active Menus. And that's a great solution for online ordering for takeout. It gets that done, gets your customer data. If you're looking for takeout and not having to pay, transaction fees and stuff like that, or commissions, Active Menus is a great product for that. If you're looking to do in-house delivery, that's really a whole different game. But the company our parent company that we work for, Deliver Logic, has all those features that a restaurant would need to create in-house delivery, an effective in-house delivery program. We have the driver app, we have restaurant apps, we have the customer apps, we have the routing, the reporting, the dispatch board, automated dispatch. So you don't have to, figure out which driver should take which order. Automated dispatch will assign drivers, give them orders. Like if you have more than one location, you can put in multiple locations into the system. And whatever orders come in from multiple stores, maybe you have a small, family chain of 2 or 3 restaurants. You can put all those onto the platform, set up all your online ordering, and the system will pretty much manage. It does require a little bit of human involvement. But if you want to do delivery, it's super critical that you're able to have proper zoning and fees set up. And Deliver Logic would get that done for you.
Yeah. And then on a broad, just to answer Ryan's question on how would someone research and where to find, I mean, you can just go to Google and just type in online ordering for my restaurant. You are going to get probably 3 pages worth of different companies that are out there. Right now, I would say the things to look out for are, is this a website? Are they providing a website that they own and giving you access to online ordering? You don't want that. You want to be able to own everything. Is this a takeout link that they're adding to your website? What are their fees? Is there a per order fee? Is there a transaction fee? Is there a commission per order? There are many ways to get money from the restaurant, and you really need to look in the fine detail and have multiple conversations with the software that you're dealing with. Where are they based out of? Who are their clients? Are they a big company? Are they outsourcing everything? How easy is the onboarding? How accessible are they? They might be one of the biggest platforms out there and, look like they have all the bells and whistles, but is that what you need for your small shop? Because if something isn't working properly and you need to get in touch with someone right then and there, what are the steps of you having to get in touch with someone? Is it through a support ticket? Is it through a chat? Or do you have that person's cell phone that onboarded you, and will they be able to help you immediately? So, again, there's a number of platforms out there that can service the independent and local restaurants with online ordering. Some of them are very, very good, very high tech. Some of them are very basic. Good examples of those are go to a lot of the Chinese restaurants. They tend to have some other different online ordering platforms on there that aren't so good. But you know what? They still get the job done, and they're still getting a ton of takeout orders. So just do your research and find the person that fits with you the best and can solve your problems. Do a little bit of homework on there, and just make sure that there's no hidden fees in the background.
Awesome, thank you. So we're getting close to the time, so I don't know if anybody else, Brian has one more question. You may have already covered this, but the best ways to articulate contactless delivery option online. Do you recommend steps to take as food business to limit the amount of hands on the order? I'm sorry.
We just saw a great restaurant in Tampa open up, and we tried their takeout service, and it was fantastic. And I was like, man, this is what the restaurants should be using for their third-party delivery as well. The bag, was a perforated bag. So not only was the food packaged in really nice packaging, but every box had a sticker label on it that said what was in that box directly from the order. That box was closed. It was put in a bag. That bag is a sealable bag. And then it has the whole ticket and the whole sticker of the entire order on the outside of the bag. You know, a lot of the problems when you order food for delivery, items are missing, drivers got orders switched and you got somebody else's order, you know, and then you see all the horror stories of, you know, I ordered from such and such restaurant, half my burger was eaten, my fries were missing, my milkshake was half drank. But man, this restaurant had it going on. We got our food, we had to tear open the bag to get to our food. Everything was nice and labeled. And so, yeah, I definitely think in this day and age that it, when you can advertise and when you can prove to the consumer that you have taken every precaution and every step, that that food is not touched once it goes into the to-go box, you are way ahead of the game.
Thank you. And then as we're getting closer to the time, do you guys have anything else to add for small businesses as insights or fresh perspectives? Maybe some of the solutions you have provided, like something they should include, like every business. I don't know if you have any final thoughts.
You know, the restaurants that I've been talking to this week have just been, they've been scared and nervous, you know, not knowing what to do. And just some of them are just like almost stuck. They're just like, I just don't know what to do. And they're just like in panic. Whereas other restaurants they're just like, man, this is the break that I needed. It kind of sucks I'm in this position, but I am getting my website updated. I'm getting my online ordering in gear. Thank you for helping me on that. I'm really looking at my menu. I'm digging through my costs. You know, just seize this moment, seize this opportunity to take your business to that next level that you always wanted it to be at. Don't be afraid of the downtime, because once everything gets fired back up again and you're rocking and rolling, you're gonna be like, man, I need a break. Well, this is the break that you have. You have this break. Seize the moment, seize the opportunity, and make sure that you are doing everything that you possibly can for your brand. Check the Google listings, check the Bing listings, get your Facebook in check. Do your research on online ordering. Do your research with your vendors and your pricing. Get things organized. And, you know, while you have the time, market, Facebook, connect, make videos, share some recipes online. You know, just don't go into a panic mode and sit on the couch and feel sorry for yourself because you don't have any sales going out the door right now.
But also leverage the customers that you're getting, right? If you're getting orders from Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub, put some marketing materials in those bags. Give them recipes. Give them a coupon. When you reopen, come on in. Have an appetizer on us. If you have online ordering, give them a discount when they order from your site. But definitely leverage the customers that you're getting to keep them once this whole madness is over, because they're going to want to come back, and it's going to be a party. I mean, when these restaurants and bars reopen, it's going to be a party across America like we've probably never seen before.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective, for taking the time. I know you guys are super busy, so I appreciate you guys taking the time to visit with us, to share your expertise. I know, like, if anybody wants to contact them for more questions, if you can provide us with a good email in the chat, or I can just is your email, or what is the best way to contact them if they have further questions?
Let's see here. Here's mine.
And I can post it. It's just like, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, just have them email Heather,
okay.
or call Heather. Like.
Yep, and I am this is my direct cell phone. Everyone in my company has told me that I'm absolutely insane for giving out my cell phone. But, you know, that's just how I operate. I want my restaurants to feel like they have an ally, that they can connect with someone. I can't answer my phone all the day 24/7, but sometimes just a simple text message like, hey, can you help me with this? I can respond back to that super easy. And that's what I'm talking about when you're a small independent restaurant. It's not, you can go to the big guys. There's nothing wrong with the big guys. They've got lots of great and wonderful products out there. But if you're the kind of person that wants to build a relationship and know that you've got someone that will respond to you, don't be afraid to look at the smaller companies as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I just want to add that Heather she replied to her newsletter saying like, hey, I think it's important for them to know about online presence and branding. So I appreciate that you were the one that reached out to us to provide value to our community. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, we miss San Antonio. We can't wait to come back home. It's definitely in our heart. We miss downtown. We miss, gosh, all the wonderful restaurants that are out there, the food trucks. We miss Southtown. We miss everything out there. We can't wait to come home and visit. I'm so bummed that Fiesta is canceled. That's kind of my husband and I's anniversary. So, I know San Antonio will come out stronger in the end.
We'll have Fiesta at another time of the year.
In November when it's cooler, that I kind of like that. So.
Yeah, it might be a good thing, right?
Yeah, but just stay diligent. Yeah, stay diligent. We have our eye on you guys as well, and we like to stay connected. And so if there's anything that we can do for you guys, just always feel free to reach out to us. Our heart's with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All righty. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.